Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Reality television has given audiences countless fashion moments, some glamorous, some shocking, and some so unexpected they leave fans divided for weeks. When Duggar Dillard, one of the most recognizable faces from TLC's 19 Kids and Counting and later Counting On, stepped out recently showing off what many online critics have dubbed her new dreadful hippie look, the internet ignited. For some, Jill's style evolution symbolized freedom, growth, and individuality. For others, it was jarring, too far a departure from the carefully curated Duggar image they had grown accustomed to over years of conservative television portrayal. This article dives into Jill Duggar's new look, the layered meaning behind it, fan reactions, family dynamics, and how fashion itself often acts as a mirror for personal transformation. From denim skirts to free-spirited flows. To understand why Jill's hippie look shocked fans, one must first revisit her upbringing. Jill Michelle Duggar grew up as the second daughter of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, the devoutly religious parents who raised 19 children under strict rules guided by their interpretation of Christian fundamentalist principles. Fashion for the Duggar women wasn't merely a personal choice, it was an act of religious devotion. Long denim skirts, high necklines, and modest blouses were a family uniform. Pants were largely forbidden for daughters, makeup was minimal if allowed at all, and hair was expected to stay long, often curled for special occasions. Audiences who watched Jill grow up on 19 Kids and Counting remember her as one of the most compliant Duggar daughters, adhering closely to the family's modesty code. So, when fans saw Jill decades later wearing loose flowing dresses, headbands, natural makeup, and sometimes even dread-inspired messy hair, the contrast was striking. The dreadful hippie reveal. Jill's latest look came to light through a series of social media posts where she appeared in relaxed, bohemian-inspired outfits. A tie-dye maxi dress, bare feet in the grass, and layered bead jewelry set the stage for what fans quickly labeled her hippie vibe. In one photo, Jill posed with minimal makeup, her hair in carefree waves with sections loosely knotted, almost resembling dreadlocks. For some, the look radiated confidence and peace. For others, it looked like a far cry from the polished, wholesome Duggar daughter of TLC's heyday. One Reddit thread exploded with comments, with users writing, "Jill looks like she just walked out of a 1970s commune. This is such a dreadful hippie look. I never thought a Duggar would go this far. She looks free. Honestly, I love it for her." The word dreadful became a trending descriptor, partly because of the dreadlock-like hairstyle Jill sported, and partly because some fans and critics thought the aesthetic was unflattering. But others reclaimed the term as positive, saying that even if it was dreadful in Duggar family standards, it was liberating in real-world context. What fashion says about freedom? When reality stars experiment with fashion, it often speaks louder than words. For Jill Duggar, whose family's strict environment controlled nearly every detail of her life, clothing has become her way of expressing autonomy. Psychologists who study fashion and self-identity often note that wardrobe changes signal inner transformation. To critics, Jill's new look might appear unkempt, but for admirers, it represents the shedding of her family's rigid rules. Her hippie style, flowing fabrics, earthy tones, and natural beauty fits perfectly with themes of authenticity and freedom. It's no coincidence that Jill, who has spoken out against her parents' control, written a memoir, and embraced therapy, is also embracing a look associated with rebellion and counterculture. The Duggar family's reaction. If fans were surprised, one can only imagine what the Duggar household thought. While Jill is famously estranged from her parents, Jim Bob and Michelle, the Duggar family brand remains tied to conservative values. Any deviation by one child can reflect back on the whole image. Insiders have often shared that Jill's choices, whether it be wearing pants, piercing her nose, or speaking out about family trauma, already disappointed her parents. The hippie aesthetic only further cements her departure from Duggar expectations. Some family members may secretly admire her courage, while others likely see it as rebellion. Either way, Jill's choices have made her the most relatable Duggar for many fans who also grew up in strict households. Fan reactions, divided and loud. Online discourse has been nothing short of chaotic. On Instagram, her supporters flooded the comments with heart emojis and cheers. "You look so happy and radiant, Jill. This is YOU. I'm loving this hippie queen era." Meanwhile, detractors weren't as kind. "This look is dreadful. You used to look classy, now you look like you don't care. What happened to Jill? This isn't flattering at all." Fan blogs have dissected every detail, from her hairstyle resembling dreadlocks to whether she's sending subliminal messages through bohemian jewelry. Some argue Jill's look connects her more to the mainstream world than ever before, while others feel it distances her from the polished Duggar image they grew attached to. Jill and Derek, partners in freedom. Behind Jill's transformation is her husband, Derek Dillard. Fans know that Derek has often spoken against Jim Bob and the Duggar empire, openly criticizing how finances and control were managed. Derek has encouraged Jill to explore individuality. From wearing pants for the first time to enjoying an occasional glass of wine to embracing therapy, Jill's evolution has been steady. The hippie look seems to be another step in that journey. In recent interviews, Jill mentioned that Derek supports her choices, and they both want their children to grow up in an environment that fosters freedom rather than suppression. Her bohemian style may reflect not just her personal growth, but also the kind of home environment she hopes to provide for her family. Hippie culture and Duggar roots, an odd contrast. What makes Jill's look particularly fascinating is how opposite it is from Duggar culture. Hippie aesthetics are historically linked to free love, feminism, anti-establishment movements, and spiritual exploration, concepts the Duggar household actively resisted. For Jill to embrace even a visual symbol of that culture is radical. In a sense, her look isn't just about fashion, it's a quiet protest. By wearing tie-dye and beads, she's visually rejecting the rigid uniform of modesty skirts and curls. The contrast could not be starker. Duggar women once symbolized controlled, conservative femininity. Now Jill embodies loose, natural, and self-defined womanhood. Critics say it's a phase. Not everyone believes Jill's look will last. Critics suggest it's a temporary phase, something she'll abandon once the novelty wears off. After all, style experimentation is normal, especially for someone who was never allowed to explore it in youth. Yet even if it's a phase, the meaning remains significant. Each step Jill takes away from Duggar expectations is symbolic. Whether she keeps the hippie look for months or years, the choice reflects her agency. The broader trend, reality stars reinventing themselves. Jill Duggar isn't the first reality star to undergo a dramatic style reinvention. From Kim Kardashian's early 2000s looks to her current minimalist chic or Honey Boo Boo growing up and evolving past pageant dresses, transformation is part of reality TV fame. Fans often crave reinvention. It keeps celebrities relevant. Jill's dreadful hippie phase may very well become her signature era, or it may just be a stepping stone to something else. Either way, fans are watching, reacting, and debating. Why fans care so much? Why does Jill's look matter? Why does the internet care so deeply if one reality TV star wears tie-dye and beads? The answer lies in parasocial relationships. Fans feel invested in Jill because they grew up with her on television. Watching her break free from the Duggar mold feels personal for those who also grew up in restrictive households. Her look sparks conversation not because of the clothes themselves, but because of what they symbolize. To some, it symbolizes rebellion. To others, freedom. To critics, decline. To supporters, empowerment. Jill's own words. Though Jill hasn't directly called her look hippie, she has commented on embracing authenticity and living true to herself. In her memoir Counting the Cost, she shared how much pressure she felt to conform and how healing it has been to carve her own path. Her Instagram captions often speak about peace, joy, and healing, sentiments that align with the free-spirited aesthetic she's adopted. Whether intentional or not, her outward style matches her inner message. What's next for Jill? If Jill continues in this direction, fans can expect more bold choices. Perhaps piercings, tattoos, or even more unconventional outfits. Each step she takes reminds audiences that she is no longer the sheltered girl from TLC's Duggar specials, but a grown woman carving her own identity. Fashion evolution is unpredictable, but one thing is certain: Jill Duggar has secured her place as one of the most talked about Duggar siblings because she dares to defy expectations. More than just a dreadful look. At first glance, Jill Duggar's new dreadful hippie look may seem like nothing more than a change in wardrobe, but underneath lies a story of transformation, rebellion, healing, and individuality. Her choice to adopt a carefree, bohemian style is as much about identity as it is about fashion. For fans, critics, and family alike, Jill's look has become a cultural Rorschach test. Some see freedom, some see decline, and some see healing. Regardless of interpretation, one truth remains: Jill Duggar is no longer defined by Duggar rules. She is defined by herself. And that, dreadful or not, is powerful.